Welcome to this Windows channel, and this is the Tech News Update. We are Wednesday, March the 21st, 2018, and today in our Tech News Update we have Windows 10 Insider Preview that was released yesterday. It was build 17127, and of course, as we are very close to what is the official release of Spring Creators Update, the questions is always, is that the official build? Is there going to be more? Is it this week? Next week? Well, one thing for sure, this build 17127 still has a watermark, so it's not that version yet, but we are really close. Well, Uber has halted all its self-driving cars after a 49-year-old woman in Arizona was killed by one of its autonomous vehicles. Now they are looking at what happened, but these cars are, of course, made to be the safest possible, and of course we will be looking at what's going to happen in statistics that have been actually done over the past few years of self-driving cars now. Well, we know that self-driving vehicles are in general much safer than the cars driven by humans, but of course there are always possibility of glitches. Microsoft and the Insider team also has done a Sarkar mostly that actually released a little piece of information on Twitter saying that a lot of people want to have faster installs of the big updates of Windows 10. Well, they said that basically the offline time for Windows 10 updates now has reached about 30 minutes, which is the shortest ever, and they say that they are, of course, working on very hard to make sure that this is reduced as much as possible every time there are new updates. One of the number one complaints of Windows 10 users is install time, or offline time, basically, or the time that your computer is unusable. Facebook is really in hot water with what's happening with the, it's kind of a data breach. It's not a data breach in the sense of a data breach being that bad guys got data from hacking into Facebook, but more into how Facebook was careless and is careless about our data. And more than 50 million user data are now been made available by a third-party quiz. And we're going to talk about this today. I'll have a separate video because there are a lot of Facebook users, and I want to kind of, share the things that Facebook has as a problem that you should not be doing on Facebook in general. And little tips and tricks here if you're a Facebook user to try to stay as anonymous as possible and try to leak the least amount of data possible when you're using Facebook in general. And of course that prompted a wave of hashtag delete Facebook movement that basically wants everybody to just delete Facebook, that it's a horrible place to be and that we shouldn't be there. Even WhatsApp founder, which by the way was bought by Facebook a little while back, now says, you know what, delete your Facebook account because it's incredible all the things that are happening over there over your private information. An interesting survey of the iPhone 10 asking users what they think about the device. So of course the survey says that everybody that has an iPhone 10, the majority of them seem to love their phone, find it really, really nice. But in one of the questions, pretty much everybody hates the notch at the top of the display. And of course, I personally was talking to one of my friends that I did see this weekend. He had an iPhone 10, and I told him that, personally I think Steve Jobs, if he would have been there, would never have allowed a phone with a notch like that to appear, for sure. AMD promises to fix its processor security flaws, and it says that it's sorry, but it's a mix of security flaws, but it's also a mix of what seems to be intentional backdoors in there. One thing that AMD did say is that the fix will not slow down your computer. Well, you can now live stream from YouTube only using the Google Chrome web browser and a webcam. It seems that it's not like easier than ever basically to stream yourself on the web, on YouTube especially, and no more third-party software needed to do so. And of course this has attracted my attention, as I will be testing that out probably in the coming couple of weeks. So I might be trying it out on one of my live streams, and if it doesn't work well, at least I have my backup option of using my streaming software. Well, in the European Union, there's a lot of talk about a tax that they want to impose on tech giants, because a lot of people and governments think that these big companies that make billions don't pay enough taxes. And we had several examples, including the Apple in Ireland, where they didn't pay really a lot. So as the European Union is talking about that, many European countries in general are just thinking maybe we should have a minimum tax that you just can't avoid paying for these tech giants, which personally I think is something that is needed, not just in Europe, but even here in North America. I think a minimum tax would not be a bad idea. Well, have you ever wanted to try a game in the Google Play Store, but you look at it and they charge for it, and you're like, well, I don't want to pay for it if I'm not really sure if I'm going to enjoy playing it? Well, more and more now, a Try Now button is being added. And the interesting part about this is that it's not downloading the game to your device. It lets you kind of play while you're kind of streaming the game if you want. It's an interesting way of making you try the game and deciding if you want to pay for it afterwards. And finally, a security study says that there is need to protect data, because a lot of companies will or are suffering data breach because they still use older, outdated software and hardware. And they say that almost 1/3 of businesses use old tech for credit card transactions. That's making it kind of dangerous. So, of course, there's a lot of talk about this support for older software, hardware that can make things safer. This was the Tech News Update for Wednesday, March 21st, 2018. You enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.